Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. Well, actually, it's not a very good evening here in the Hawke's Bay. Would you believe it? It is raining again, and that's enough to strike fear into the hearts of locals. 5 people have now been confirmed dead. The latest is believed to be a woman found in Tukumaru Bay, north of Gisborne. And there are fears other bodies will be discovered as the recovery operation continues. 102,000 households are still without power across the North Island. Vast areas of productive land have been devastated. Fruit and vegetable crops ruined right as they were due to be harvested. The government has just announced $2 million will be freed up to give immediate support to the people of Gisborne and of Hawke's Bay. Well, in Hawke's Bay, one man was forced to swim for his life when his house was lifted up by floodwaters and swept nearly a kilometre down the road. He lives in Eskdale, one of the worst hit areas, and where locals say some residents are still missing. Here's our investigations correspondent, Michael Morrow.
The debris-strewn, treacherous remains of State Highway 5 in Eskdale. A proud community, the land they loved, in ruins.
We're at Eskdale truck stop and behind Eskdale Motor Camp.
Nikki Panchud says the truck stop was where many took shelter.
Some of us got out, some of us didn't. Some of us got swept away in their caravans.
She managed to get to safer ground in her house bus, but can't believe what's been left behind.
It's just, yeah, I just can't comprehend it, to be honest. I can't soak it in. It's just, yeah. It's not nice. You just got to feel for everybody.
The force of the torrent that tore through here is becoming clearer. This home was ripped from its foundations and swept away.
She was 900 metres up the road opposite the church. It's floated on the polystyrene blocks all the way down the railway line, which used to be there.
Luke O'Connell's wife and children got to safety. He was with an elderly neighbour in his ute when the floodwaters suddenly took control. This is where Luke's truck flipped as he tried desperately to escape the floodwaters. The former surf lifesaver says he and his neighbour were then faced with having to swim for their lives, finally taking refuge on the roof of a house further up the road.
We swam out, yeah, me and an old neighbour. Yeah, he did a blinder of a job, staying above water.
This is now all about a community, family effort. It's about mateship and machinery. Shalako Ellis made it to his roof as the waters rose.
We had a blow-up pool toy covering us from the rain, and then we just started freezing. So I ripped off some of the roof on the other side that you can't see, and we got inside the roof.
Inside his home, a nightmarish mess of mud and water.
It's incredible to think that the family that lived here made it out alive. I'm almost 2 metres, and the floodwaters that ripped through here were 2.5 metres to 3 metres.
Eskdale is known for its orchards. The once prized export quality apple trees have been destroyed. Rob Sykes owned 24 acres here. There's now nothing left.
This is beyond belief.
This is your life's work.
Yeah, I've been growing apples, my family have been growing apples in this district since the 1920s.
USAR teams are double-checking properties for people who are unaccounted for. It's painstaking, difficult work. In a place where the loss of homes and possessions is so immense, locals told us they are just material things. Most are just grateful that they still have each other.
Our investigations correspondent Michael Morrow there with that story, and Michael joins me now. Have the people in Eskdale been able to salvage anything from their homes?
Well, sadly, Sam, not really. Everything is caked in mud and sodden. Some small personal items have been recovered. You may have seen Luke in my story just there. He managed to get his wife's wedding dress out, and I also noticed a small note, a damp note on the ground, which read, "I love you, Dad," which obviously one of his children had written. Now, we're currently at Whirinaki, Sam, which is just north of where you are in Eskdale. But as you can see, this is really the end of the line. State Highway 2 is still completely completely flooded. The water is chest high. There's a resident just there you may be able to see in his kayak, and the paddocks over the right of my shoulder, there are logs floating there. And Sam, this is part of the problem. The conditions and access remain very difficult at this time, and this is a huge challenge, not only for the residents here, but for the people who are trying to reach them, Sam.
Yeah, that destruction is just so widespread. Michael, thanks so much for that.